Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're totally rethinking customer journey mapping. We're going to take it from that dusty, once-a-year whiteboard session and turn it into a dynamic, friction-killing operating system, one that actually drives real business growth. So let's just dive right into this by tackling a massive pain point. Picture this. A customer just signed a contract with your company, right? And they ask a super simple question. What happens next? Well, think about it. Would every single team in your building give them the exact same answer? Probably not, because teams like marketing, sales, customer success, and product, they're usually operating in these completely isolated silos, so they end up giving entirely different answers to the customer. Marketing is thinking about awareness, sales is focused on the purchase, success is all about onboarding, and product, well, they're hyper-focused on adoption. And honestly, that brilliantly illustrates the core issue we're fixing today. You see, your customers don't experience your business in silos. They experience one single continuous journey. But most companies are operating off of these disjointed, static maps that totally fail to reflect that reality. The journey is what the customer actually lives through across every single channel. The map is just your team's attempt to document it. And if those two things don't perfectly align, well, friction builds up real fast. So here's the exact roadmap we'll follow today to solve this problem and build a highly structured, living methodology. We'll start with the journey versus the map, cover the core stages, connect our personas, walk through a step-by-step mapping guide, and finally, turn that blueprint into action. Kicking things off with the journey versus the map and breaking down those silos. To really break down those walls, we first have to establish why getting this right is absolutely critical to your bottom line. Look, a proper map isn't just some academic exercise. It is a highly actionable tool that connects directly to your net revenue retention, or NRR. When you do it right, journey mapping identifies and completely removes the exact friction points that are slowing down a customer's time to value. It lets you see exactly where feature adoption is flatlining, it makes your renewals incredibly predictable, and it acts as the ultimate unifier for your cross-functional teams. It literally turns the customer experience from a cost center into a reliable growth engine. Moving right along to the 5 core stages, where we define the digital lifecycle. So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, these are the 5 core stages of a standard B2B SaaS digital journey. It kicks off with awareness, often happening on third-party platforms way before they even hit your website. Then comes consideration, where multiple stakeholders are evaluating you. Next is the purchase, which is this huge, pivotal handoff moment. But here is the absolute key takeaway you need from this. While marketing might own that awareness piece, in the SaaS world, it's the retention and advocacy stages that truly drive your long-term revenue. If your handoff from sales to success is messy, it's going to ripple right through their onboarding and seriously threaten that retention stage months down the line. Next up, connecting personas to journeys, because we have to find that missing link. Because honestly, knowing those stages just isn't enough on its own. A map without a persona is basically just a generic road with no driver. Take a tech-savvy user, for example. They want advanced capabilities and generally feel pretty confident, even though they absolutely hate slow load times. But a first-time user, they just want easy onboarding. Confusing navigation leaves them feeling totally overwhelmed. If your map tries to average out these two entirely different user experiences, it winds up helping neither of them. You absolutely must explicitly connect the who to the what. All right, let's get into the step-by-step mapping guide and start building your blueprint. Now for the heavy lifting. This right here is the absolute core of our explainer today, your tactical step-by-step blueprint. We've distilled the entire journey mapping process into 6 incredibly actionable steps. Step 1, define your goal. Don't try to boil the ocean and map everything at once. Work backward from a very specific measurable outcome, like improving renewal rates or shortening time to value. Step 2, build out those distinct personas we just talked about, so you know exactly who is actually taking the journey. Step 3 is inventorying every single touchpoint. I mean everything. Your website, the product UI, support channels, sales emails. Leave absolutely no stone unturned. Step 4 requires mapping the customer's specific actions against their emotional highs and lows during those touchpoints. Moving to Step 5, this is where you attach real data signals and KPIs to these stages, so your map is based on facts, not just gut feelings. And finally, Step 6, identify the specific friction points that are slowing the customer down and orchestrate automated cross-team solutions to fix them for good. Let's actually double-click on Steps 3 and 4 for a second. When you're inventorying those touchpoints, you have to constantly ask yourself, what is the user thinking right now? You literally need to track their internal monologue across the website, the product UI, and your support channels. Are they asking, hey, where can I find this information? Or maybe wondering if they even made the right purchase? By capturing these very specific questions at every single touchpoint, you can preemptively solve their problems before they ever even need to reach out to your support team. And that ties directly into tracking their emotional arc. If you aren't explicitly documenting whether they're feeling confident, frustrated, apathetic, or stressed out, well, your journey map just becomes purely mechanical. You're going to completely miss the real friction points. If a customer is feeling highly anxious during the commit or start phase, but your map is only logging the technical clicks they make, you aren't actually managing their journey. You're just checking boxes. Which brings us to our final section, from blueprint to action, orchestrating the experience. Let's tie all of this together and see how this blueprint transforms into real-world action. The entire goal of this explainer today is to get you away from static deliverables and over to a living system. We want to completely move away from diagrams that just live in a presentation deck, are rarely ever updated, and rely on fragmented, siloed data. Instead, you need to evolve this into a living operating system. That means your map is physically connected to live product usage analytics, support tickets, and community engagement data. It's reviewed weekly. When adoption suddenly plateaus at day 30, it automatically triggers real-world actions, like firing off in-app prompts, routing users to a training module, or immediately pinging your success team. That is true orchestration, and that is exactly how a map drives outcomes. So, I'll leave you with this provocative thought to challenge how your team is operating today. Take a really hard look at your current processes. Is your journey map actively driving revenue by triggering the right action at the exact right time? Or is it just a beautiful diagram sitting on a hard drive somewhere, collecting dust? If it's the latter, well, you now have the exact step-by-step blueprint to fix it. Get out there, map the reality, and start orchestrating a truly incredible customer experience.